Welcome back to Fast Garage, guys. Today is the day we are getting started on the mystery engine that we had you guys guess on what it was that we were putting in our 72 Buick Skylark. And again, this is going to be a build slash repurpose of this engine on somewhat of a budget. This isn't going to be any super high dollar deal. All we're shooting for is to make our GMA body that weighs around 4,000 pounds run a good solid 12 seconds, whether that be 12.8, 12.2, or 12.5. So let's get started and let's unveil what engine we actually have. If you still haven't guessed, go ahead and guess in the comments real quick. We're going to pause it out for just a minute, give you like 5 Mississippi, and get in the comments, say it is, pause the video, and let's see how many people get it. All right, guys, if you guessed a big block Chevy, you are on the money. So those of you that could see through that bag and tell that this was a big hunk of iron 454, you got it. So what we have here is a reman engine built by ATK in Texas. They do performance engines and stock replacement engines. They're sold through Summit Racing, Jegs, auto parts stores everywhere. Now, I did not buy this directly from them, and this is not what I would consider a fresh build right out of the warehouse. You got a little bit of rust here, and that's because I bought this from a gentleman and it had been sitting around for 2 years, which thankfully he kept in bags. There's just some minor surface rust, but I do want that to be upfront with, this is not how an engine from them would come. So just so you guys know. Now, what is it? So if we look right here, their part number is a DC44. So what is that for ATK? That is a stock replacement, like late 70s to late 80s or mid 80s, before fuel injection. I think before fuel injection, 454. So peanut port heads. This thing's rated at about 230 horsepower from the factory, from GM. And usually when they're in a truck, I found 1 or 2 little dyno videos on it. They make right around 189 horsepower with, I think, something around 300 something torque or more. What's funny is if you do the conversion with our Buick with a 350 in it right now, that's roughly what it's putting to the ground, is around 180-ish to be running 15.8 in the quarter mile. So if we just threw this in there, I think it would run better than the Buick engine that's in there, but I don't think it'd be a drastic change. So that's why we're going to change a few parts out on this and upgrade it. But first of all, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a closer look so that you can see how clean and nice this is and just the starting platform that we have. Okay, so here we are. So they did a really good job with machining, it looks like. Again, the rust is from sitting in that guy's shop. Unfortunately, I had a bag on it, got a ton of holes in it, and there's no moisture packets in it, so got some surface rust. Not worried about it. But I mean, nice new timing chain, new lifters, heads look good, like they're assembled correctly, so very nice. So a few things to check on our 454. One, what kind of heads? Peanut port heads. These are very small heads, very good about torque production. We can use these if we want. That intake right there would work on this, but I've got some other stuff we may do instead, but that is an option, is to run peanut port heads. Roughly, with peanut port heads, watching Richard Holdner with the cam that we can put in this thing, we can make probably about 450 horsepower to the crank and about 530 torque, which is awesome. Plenty of burnouts, but that is not quite enough horsepower to get our 4,000 pound GMA body in the 12s or the mid 12s. So I don't know if these are going to cut it, and switching to aluminum would save us roughly about 60 pounds, which is huge. Other thing you see, this is a flat tappet engine. That used to not be so much of a big deal, but you're about a 50-50 chance of a flat tappet going flat nowadays, so we will not be using a flat tappet, so that's a hint on parts. Got a nice new timing chain, got oil galley plugs, everything looks nice and smooth and new. So, looks pretty good. Now, let me get you guys a little bit better. Some of the later blocks do not have a provision for mechanical fuel pump. So this one does. There's a hole right there, so we can run a mechanical fuel pump, which is awesome, because I don't want to run an electric one. You can also see we're 2-bolt main. So it'll take some power. I've seen a lot of people make good power 2-bolt mains. For what we're doing, perfectly fine. factory style rods, not a bad thing for what we're doing. So, two-piece rear main seal on the back. So this is what's considered a Gen 4 style block, which is good. They're hard to come by. So that's the general gist of it. Let's start taking it down. But before we do that, make your guesses for the next part. What do you think the over bore is? Is it stock bore, 30, 40, or 60 over? I don't know. I've not pulled it off. I have no idea. Same thing on the rod and the main bearings. Is this crank turn? Is it stock? Is it 10-10? Or is it 20-20? Or is it 10-20? Make your guesses now. We're gonna switch over format. I'm gonna get some tools. We're gonna pull the heads off, pull the lifters out, and the valve train off, and then we'll know the bore. And we're also gonna pull off one of the rods, one of the mains to see what they're at so we can order parts. Then we'll get the parts on the next one. All right, let's get started. All right, so we're gonna have to do this a little different. Unfortunately, a lot of the video I took for the teardown didn't come out right. My phone wouldn't hold the memory for it, and try using a GoPro, and for some reason, with this editing software, it just didn't work well. So we don't really have any good video for this, but I'm just gonna fill you in on what we found. So thankfully, the block is only 40 thousandths over. So big block Chevy, 40 thousandths over is a bore size of 4.290. which do the cubic inch with the 4-inch crank, you're basically around a 463, depending on how you round it. That's wonderful. That means that there's a rebuild left in this block even after this one. So super excited about that. Now the crank and rods were the other thing. Mainly the crank, how much it had been turned. Got lucky on that too. Crank had only been turned 10-10. So 10 thousandths under on rods and mains, which is, to me, that is awesome. You still get X bearings to get more clearance. You really haven't weakened the crankshaft that much, especially for what we're building. So that was just a win, because if that thing would have been 20-20 or 30-30, which I'm not even sure if they make bearings for that, then pretty much I'm looking for a crankshaft at that point. So that turned out great. The block looked good. There's a little bit of surface rust. Not even surface rust, but a little bit of rust staining in one of the cylinders. You couldn't even feel it with your hand. It just basically had just a little bit of an orange tint to it. So nothing wrong there. Now, the other thing that we found that is going to be a power killer is how far the whole setup is in the hole. So right now with the flat tops and factory connecting rods, we measured it. It is 30 thousandths in the hole. So if you do the compression calculator on that, with the heads that we're looking at running on this, you are like 7.8, 7.9 to 1 with a terrible quench. You're talking about a quench that's probably somewhere almost 60 thousandths, which is just trash. We can't use that. We're not going to. So although the bore's good, the crank's good, we are going to have to deck this block. I'm really not that upset about it. And also, we are putting in new pistons, so we're going to put the pistons and rods in and recheck it to see if that changed any. And we're going to try to shoot for somewhere around 10 thousandths in the hole to 0. The only problem with 0 is if we rebuild it again and something happens to the deck and it gets scarred up, then at that point, not that you have to have custom pistons, but pistons up out of the hole, and you have to be very mindful of your clearances and things. So that's pretty much it. The next video is about to come out. I've already got parts. So I'm going to show you how we're going to make some more power out of this short block. The plans for the short block have changed a little bit to up the power just a little bit. So come back for the next video, and we're going to have basically regular scheduled programming at that time. We're going to have videos for everything, so shouldn't have any issues. I've also included a few pictures of the car this is actually going in. If you guys haven't seen that, the car is also on this YouTube channel, and we're also building a 12-bolt rear end for it. That will be on its own videos, and we have to have this thing done soon because we are doing the 6 Smokies in October, and just getting closer and closer. So check back in, and we're going to continue this build series.